I say if we do not tell our true stories our way, someone else will tell the false stories their way, and it will be seen as true. So embrace knowledge. It is your power to know you. You understand? So if we as Africans do not come out to say this story about ourselves, who will? Calendar which the world uses right now was brought in by the ancient Egyptians. You know, the calendar has a leap year in it. So at that point in time, the Egyptians were actually informing the, I think the Greeks at that time, that this calendar has a leap year to it. This is how they calculate it, but they were not listening. But over time, they looked at it and said, "Okay, okay, we get it. We're going to," and that was how they brought it into the calendar. And I think at the end of the day, they now said it's now the Gregorian calendar, but the Gregorian calendar was actually an African calendar before the Greeks came and said, "Okay, we will take this calendar and make it part of it." It became a world calendar, the calendar which we now use in the world right now. So that's basically from astronomy. The other aspects of astronomy, then metallurgy. Okay, let me say metallurgy. I'll go with metallurgy and agriculture. I said creative metallurgy and intelligent agriculture. Metallurgy and agriculture are two aspects which they say Africans were good at. Metallurgy, okay, metal, they could bring metal together, they could do, you understand, because they say that we were warriors, we were fighting with spears and all that, so they give us metallurgy. They say, yes, Africans were the ones who, yeah, you understand, that's part of primitivity, so it goes well with you. So, but the truth is, at the time that the world was still in the Stone Age, Africa had already entered the Iron Age. Yes, they didn't even they just sidestepped everything and they moved into the Iron Age. So with that, we could bend and get every metal into how we wanted it. The gold, name it the gold, the iron, the brass. You go if you go to some places in Africa and you see the work in iron which they do, the Benin people. In fact, like I say, Africa, the civilization of Africa wasn't even just limited to one place. You cannot say South Africa was, or let me use Egypt that everybody talks about. Egypt was civilized and this other place wasn't civilized. West Africa wasn't civilized, or South Africa was civilized and this other place was no. Everywhere it was taking place all over Africa. So they were very intelligent scientists all over Africa. But you understand, because we don't have this information, the Benin bronze work, is it the one, the Iboku iron structure, all over Africa, they had all these things going on. So they were all there. Then we had, of course, agriculture. Agriculture, because of the tilling of the soil, they say, okay, they were quite primitive in their ways, in their agricultural ways. But the truth is, in agriculture now, Africans domesticated a lot of things. They domesticated animals, they domesticated food. The food were domesticated. Like you see yam now, a lot of this food were wild. They were growing in the wild and you couldn't eat them. You understand? Because maybe they had a lot of, they were poisonous. But the Africans of those days brought them and they used science to domesticate them. So at the end of the day, you can comfortably eat yam. You understand? Coffee, which is all over the world and everybody drinks now. So domesticated in Ethiopia. You understand? So
it's interesting.
yeah.
Because even how you're saying it was domesticated.
Yes, domesticated.
And when I eat a lot of foods, I often wonder who discovered, especially when I'm home now, who discovered this was okay
some of
and
them
this
were
was
wild.
not okay.
No,
Yeah.
they were growing in the wild, you understand? They couldn't be eaten like that. But over time, there was a science behind domestication. They domesticated them and people could eat them. Understand? They became food, edible food that could be eaten. Same thing with the animals. Some of these animals, they were wild animals that couldn't be tamed to help with farm work. You understand? Like the cattle. The cattle were domesticated and they are now being used for farm work. You understand? So a lot of these things, it was a science. And funny enough, a good number of these things, when those were part of the things where that, there was a lot of brain drain even during the slave period. These people it didn't just end in Africa. They took these things, the people with their knowledge of how to grow these things, took them to the plantations over there. They grew their economy, they grew their food. You understand? They came, and they also took the people with the knowledge. They came with the fruits and the people. So this domestication, it didn't just end in Africa. It went to the Caribbeans, it went to the plantations in the Americas and in other places. Understand? So it wasn't just an African thing. Then beside the cola nut, which I'm sure you've heard about, the Coca Cola.
Yes.
Coca Cola, the cola nut was the major ingredient in Coca Cola drink.
The cola nut.
Yes. So even in my book, I said something. I said that tells you that we know of course, everyone in the West loves their coffee. Everybody, Coca Cola is something that most people have taken, if not everyone. So. But that was my pattern statement in my book. I said that tells that everyone, or if not everyone at all in the world, has had a taste of Africa, and that's the truth. They have had a taste of Africa. So what I need here is acknowledge us. We gave these things. It's not for me. I don't see it as a we and them thing. It's a thing of give honor to whom honor is due.
Yes.
You understand? I give you your own things. You don't take back my own and say, okay, because of colonialism, you didn't do this. No. You tell people let me not say that you tell people. We as Africans will tell people. There's a quote in my book I love so much. I say, if we do not tell our true stories our way, someone else will tell the false stories their way, and it will be seen as true. So embrace knowledge. It is your power to know you. You understand? So if we as Africans do not come out to say this story about ourselves, who will? Who will? No one will. So we have to tell it to everyone around. And okay, I think I didn't talk about navigation. That was because I wanted to put in metalogy and agriculture. Navigation, inquisitive navigators, is actually another chapter in my book. And in the navigation aspect, it's about they tell you. Besides the fact that they say Africa has no history, or African history was word of mouth, you understand? It was never written, which I addressed in the Education for Thinkers. Africans wrote down their history, you understand? So another thing I did in my book was I was breaking a lot of stereotypes. Ubuntu will say, no, Africa is a continent, and he will tell you everything. He breaks it down for you. You understand? Those were most of the illustrations that were there. So another stereotype was Africans, they don't have any history. Their history was written, it was word of mouth that it was passed through. That's why it wasn't written. We don't know anything about the history of Africa. But no, the book will tell you that Africans had their history written down.
I believe that lie, that it wasn't written. So I didn't really start to delve into it. I figured it's all word of mouth. I've got to learn for myself until this moment.
Yeah. So a lot of it, you understand. Like I'll tell you, the scrolls, the papyrus, the manuscripts. You see a lot of it written down. You understand. Even what are we talking about? Right, in caves, they had a lot of writings in caves. You understand, which they got passed down, and it was you just, when these stereotypes keep coming, you say, oh, it's actually true. But when you actually delve into it, you see manuscripts. You know that there are manuscripts that were kept. You understand, for people for records. But the problem is, like I keep saying, and that's part of my social entrepreneur work, is getting Africans to read. You understand? We don't read all that much. Fine. I know they all say that this reading habit thing is from everybody, but the major thing, okay, if you as a person don't, there are people who have done the reading for them, they have delved into their history for them, and they present it to them. They might not be bothered about reading, but we Africans have a duty to ourselves to explore and to know more. Because if we don't, who is going to do it for us? They'll be the ones that they will tell you that, okay, do this, you understand? Don't bother. This is what it is about you, and you sit back and say,
and accept it.
They've said it. I don't even need to research. I don't need to read more. No, that's why we need to keep that knowledge. Is important. Keep it rolling. Keep it going.
Thank you so much for watching, guys. There is no more excuse for us as a people to not love ourselves. Next week we'll bring part 4, the final part of Hidden Histories. If you haven't got your copy of Maluchi's book Hidden Histories, you can get it on Amazon. The link is in the description box. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. In 3, 2, 1, way. Welcome to the family, and see you in the next one. Bye.